My house grows mold. It has grown mold every July since it was built in 1961, and it will grow mold again next July. I have never won that fight, and I have stopped trying to. I want to say that at the start because most of what you will read about mold is written as though there is a product that ends it. There is not. Nagano is cold enough in January to freeze the water in a glass by the window, and humid enough in July that a leather bag left in a cupboard will be furred by the end of the month. Those are the conditions. They do not negotiate. What changed in this house is that I stopped trying to kill mold and started denying it the two things it needs, which are moisture and still air. Mold does not really grow on walls. It grows on damp that has been allowed to sit. If the damp cannot sit, there is nothing to clean, and the bleach and the sprays and the afternoon on your knees never enter the story at all. My grandmother knew all 13 of these, and I doubt she could have explained why any of them worked. She would just open something, or move something, or put something in the sun, and the house stayed sound for 80 years on a hillside where the fog sat all morning. I will give you all 13. If you only take 2, take number 1 and number 13. Number 1 costs nothing and takes 10 minutes a day. Number 13 costs about the same as 2 coffees, and it turns all of this from a feeling into a number you can actually check. Number 1. 2 openings, never 1. If you open a single window, almost nothing happens. The air by the glass moves a little and the rest of the room stays exactly where it was, holding exactly the water it was holding. Air needs somewhere to come in and somewhere to leave, and the two need to be on opposite sides of the space. So you open a window at the front of the house and a window at the back, or a window and the door of the room, and you leave them for 10 or 15 minutes. You will feel it as a draft, and that draft is the entire point. In Japanese houses, this is done every day, usually in the morning, in winter as well as in summer. Yes, in winter. The house loses some heat for 10 minutes and it loses the whole night's breath from your lungs and your bath and your cooking, which is more water than most people would believe. Number 2. Pull the furniture off the wall. Not far, 3 or 4 centimeters is enough, about 1.5 inches. The point is that air can pass behind it. An outside wall is colder than the room. A wardrobe pressed flat against it makes a pocket of air that never moves and never warms, and that pocket is where mold appears first, always, in every house I have ever been in. People find it when they move house, and it is a shock, because the room looked perfect for years. Go and look behind the largest piece of furniture on your coldest outside wall. Whatever you find there is the true state of your house. Everything else in this list is easier once you have seen it. Number 3. Nothing is packed tight and closed things get opened. A cupboard stuffed to the edges is a small sealed room with no ventilation. Japanese storage cupboards are deep and it would be easy to fill them completely, and we deliberately do not. You leave a gap at the sides and at the back, and on a dry day you open the doors and leave them open for an hour while you do something else. This is the habit people skip because nothing appears to be happening. Nothing appearing to happen is what success looks like here. Every one of these 13 is invisible when it works, which is precisely why they are the ones nobody is taught. Number 4. Slatted boards, so nothing sits flat. We use a sonoko, a simple wooden board of slats with gaps between them, and we put it at the bottom of a cupboard, or under bedding, or under a box in a storeroom. It lifts the thing about 2 centimeters and lets air pass underneath. That is the whole invention. Anything resting flat on a floor or a shelf has a face that never breathes, and that face is where it starts. You do not need to buy a Japanese one. 2 lengths of batten under a box will do the same work. What matters is the gap. Number 5. Charcoal in the small closed places. Plain hardwood lump charcoal, or the white charcoal we call binchotan, in an open dish or a cloth bag, in the shoe cupboard and the wardrobe and under the sink. It is full of microscopic holes and it pulls in both moisture and smell. I want to be honest about the size of the effect because this one gets exaggerated. A dish of charcoal will not dry a room. In a shoe cupboard or a closed wardrobe, it does real work, and in an open room, it does almost nothing. Put it where the air is trapped. Every few months, you take it outside on a bright day and leave it in the sun for a few hours, and it dries out and starts again, and it will last you years. Number 6. After the bath, the door stays shut and the fan stays on. Most people do the opposite. They open the bathroom door to let the steam out, which is generous of them, because it lets the steam into the rest of the house, where it lands on the coldest surface it can find. In Japan, the door stays closed and the extractor fan runs, and it runs for hours, not for 10 minutes. Overnight is normal. The window stays shut while the fan is on, because otherwise the fan pulls air from the window instead of pulling the wet air out. It costs very little to run, and it removes the single largest source of water in the house. Number 7. Wipe the windows in the morning. In winter, water beads on cold glass all night. By morning, it has run down and gathered along the bottom of the frame, and that groove stays wet all day and then gets wet again the next night. That is why mold in a bedroom almost always starts at the bottom edge of the window, in the corner, on the seal. It is 20 seconds with a cloth. My grandmother did it before she did anything else in the winter, and it was one of the very few things she was insistent about. Number 8. Put the bedding in the sun. On a clear, dry day, out it goes, over a rail or a line, for a few hours in the middle of the day and back inside before the late afternoon, because after about 3 o'clock the air begins to give its moisture back and you will carry damp bedding into the house. You sleep out a surprising quantity of water every night and it goes into the mattress or the futon and stays there. The sun's real work here is drying, plainly and simply. You will hear that it kills dust mites, and it does kill some on the surface, but the ones deep inside are not much troubled, so do not rely on that part. Rely on the drying, which is complete and free. Number 9. Do not cover a floor that breathes. Tatami breathes. Wood breathes. If you put a rubber-backed rug or a plastic sheet over either of them, you have made a lid, and the moisture that would have passed through now sits underneath in the dark. I have seen a beautiful wooden floor destroyed by a rug that was there to protect it. If you want a rug on wood, use one with a woven natural backing. Lift it now and then and look underneath. Number 10. Cook with the lid on. A pot of water boiling uncovered for 20 minutes puts most of a liter of water into the air of your kitchen. That water does not leave the house on its own. It moves until it finds something cold, and then it becomes a droplet on a window, or in the corner of the ceiling, or behind the cupboard on the outside wall. So the lid goes on, and the extractor goes on before you start rather than when the pan boils over, and the kitchen door stays open so it does not build. Cooking, bathing, and breathing are the 3 water taps inside your house, and cooking is the one you can turn down without changing your life. Number 11. Alcohol on wood and walls, not bleach. For a hard bathroom surface, a chlorine cleaner is fine, and it is what we use. For wood, plaster, paper, tatami, and anything else that absorbs, it is a poor tool, and it is worth understanding why. Bleach is mostly water. On a porous surface, the water soaks in and carries the mold's roots along with it, while the chlorine, which does not travel, stays near the surface and takes the color out of what it can reach. The stain disappears. 2 weeks later, it is back in the same place, and now the wood has had a soaking as well. For those surfaces we use ethanol, the ordinary spirit you find in a spray bottle. It kills what it touches, and then it evaporates and leaves nothing behind, which on a damp material is the whole point. And whatever you use, never mix it with something else. Chlorine cleaner and an acid together make a gas that has killed people in their own bathrooms. Number 12. The reset before the rainy season. Our rains come in June and they last about 6 weeks, and the week before they start is the busiest week of the year for a Japanese house. Every cupboard is opened. Bedding, winter coats, and anything stored goes out into the sun. Charcoal is dried. Things are checked behind and underneath. You may not have a rainy season, but every house has a worst stretch, and yours is on the calendar too. Find the week before it and do this then, once a year. Going into your damp season with everything already dry is not the same as fighting it once it has arrived. It is the difference between a house that stays ahead and one that spends 4 months catching up. Number 13. By the meter. This is the one I would give you above all the others, because it takes the whole subject out of the realm of feeling. A small hygrometer costs almost nothing. It tells you the relative humidity in the room. Below 60%, mold cannot get established. Above 60% and especially above 70%, it will find somewhere. And the somewhere will be the coldest, stillest corner you own. Put one in the room that troubles you. Look at it in the morning and again at night. You will learn within a week which of your own habits move the number, and you will stop guessing. And when you open 2 windows for 10 minutes and watch it fall 6 points, number 1 stops being advice and becomes something you have seen for yourself. That is all 13. Begin with number 1 and number 13. Open 2 windows, by the meter, and watch what happens for a week. Everything else on this list will make more sense once you can see the number moving. I should say plainly that none of this repairs a leak, and none of it helps a wall with water coming through it from outside. If the damp is in one patch and it is always in the same patch and it is worse after rain, that is not a habit problem, that is a building problem, and no amount of opening windows will touch it. But if your house is simply damp, the way old houses in wet places are simply damp, then it is not asking you for a product. It is asking for 10 minutes and a gap behind the wardrobe. Tell me where the mold appears in your house and what the wall is made of and which way that wall faces. I read all of them, and after a while you start to see the same 3 houses again and again.